Hey Rashmi, welcome to Just Like That.
Good afternoon, Sahil. Very nice to speak to you on a Sunday afternoon, just like that.
Wonderful, wonderful. So Rashmi, I've been mulling over this thought for the last couple of days, interacting with so many people on Just Like That, to say that, children of people from the forces or children of parents who had transferable jobs have actually a very, very different childhood, right? Because apart from moving cities and schools and colleges, they really have an opportunity to really explore the entire country. And as they grow up, they turn out to be very, very different human beings as compared to those who would have stayed with their parents through their entire childhood while growing up.
Absolutely. The kind of experience and the diverse perspectives that we get growing up across this country is immense. In fact, personally, I have changed about 8 to 9 schools over my childhood. I have, studied in smaller schools, which, it resembles a shed, and I've gone to convent schools. But the kind of perspective that we get, the kind of, experience that we get with various people, various cultures, various languages. I think it is a different experience in itself. So, and I loved the entire aspect of being an army kid.
Yeah, I think this whole concept of exposure and experiences not only is very interesting, but it also shapes your thinking in a very, very different manner.
It does, and I totally, in fact, right now I call myself as a diversity inclusion consultant. I eat, breathe, sleep inclusion, and I give a lot of my credit for this entire thing to my upbringing in the army and my entire perspective of moving around the country, meeting different people. I owe it to the army.
Right. So while we may have a lot of exposure that gives us the experience and we learn from it, I think so it's extremely important to even have mentors in your life. I remember when I was a kid, and obviously my dad has his practice at home itself, and he would have patients from all walks of life come and come for dental treatment. And he would really tell me, why don't you meet this uncle or meet this auntie? She works for Google or he's working with HUL, and you may get a diverse perspective, and then you can decide whether you want to take marketing, science, technology, or whichever field. So I think so mentors really happened to me when I was growing up through my dad's patients.
No, it does. And there is this entire aspect of mentoring that I want to demystify. Running the largest mentoring program right now in the country. Of course, it's targeted at women, but we're also looking at young students from colleges right now. The whole aspect of mentoring has always been there with us, since the time when we, as you rightly said, from asking about your subjects to what you wanted to, take forward, or, when you're looking at looking at a new job or you're moving cities, you always get in touch with some uncle or some, some brothers, friend who knows something, and you try and, get perspective about a place, people, city, the job itself. So we always have reached out to our natural mentors. But there's this entire thing about, mentoring. Oh, I need to be connected to a senior mentor right now. I don't know how to, handle it. I think we just need to demystify it. Mentoring is required because it gives an alternative perspective to whatever we are thinking. We might be very invested in what we think, and we feel that's the right thing to do. But I think if we seek out diverse perspectives, and mentoring is one, tool towards doing that, we will be able to get a lot more ideas, different perspectives, different ways of looking at things, and that will help us grow. It will not, get us down. It will only help us grow.
No, I think that's so true, Rashmi, because from the way I look at it, like as you rightly said, right, natural mentors, be it relatives, be it friends, be it my dad's patients, to actually going on to LinkedIn and following leaders in various spaces.
You get it right, yeah.
Yeah. To today, where I believe that I learn the maximum. Of course, senior people who are senior to you have seen a lot more Diwalis than you have, but I honestly learn the maximum when I teach. So when I teach at various colleges across the country, I learn the maximum through my students. And I think reverse mentoring is just so brilliant, because as long as you're open to the idea, you can learn from anybody across the world.
No. You nailed it, Sahil. I mean, and that's what the entire beauty of mentoring is. You mentoring. Mentoring is always two ways. It's just not one way. And I know so many mentors that who have sort of participated in my programs that I'm running. They've always come back and said that it's always made them a better person, a better leader, because they always gain perspectives that they thought that they knew about it, but then they got a much more detailed perspective because they had a mentee who was actually giving them the right mirror that they could sort of get deep into. So yeah, it works both ways.
Correct. But Rashmi, I'm just thinking about this, right? If it's just about having a conversation with that uncle or that auntie or someone who you know, or a first connection on LinkedIn, it's very easy because phone utha ke baat kar liya. But the moment you attach a financial amount to mentoring or do a formal mentoring program, many of us, and I'll be very honest, I've been guilty of it as well, just stay away to say, okay, you know what, maybe I'll defer it, or maybe this mentoring is costing so much, or these sessions cost this amount of money, or maybe I'll park it for later. Why is this thing playing out? Even you do this for so many people across the country. Do you see similar kind of reactions that paisa kharchne ke time thoda hichkichahat hoti hai, but that same amount of money, if you want to go out with friends to a 5-star or go have a couple of drinks, you don't mind spending it?
No, and that is exactly. In fact, I've always wondered why, because you again nailed it, because that's what people do. They will not battle an eyelid if they say, oh, and they will, they can spend times and reams of time speaking to other people as well, saying, oh, I'm going here and I'm trying to invest in this particular designer dress because this is the color that I want to be wearing in this wedding, or this is the outfit that needs to go with this particular theme of, whatever celebration that I have. And the same people, when you're saying that, why don't you, sort of invest in this particular certification, or, spend time, invest money in, sort of getting a mentor, because, sometimes you need those, those professional mentors or coaches who will help you and guide you better. There's always this question mark. But I've also seen, Sahil, I don't know, you also working, sometimes when, you work with organizations, there are a lot of perks, so you get free trainings and you get a lot of pro bono stuff which goes with it. And sometimes I remember there was a coachee who came to me. She was very excited. She wanted to start coaching, and in fact, she was actually pushing me, and I didn't have dates that time. And I realigned my dates. And when I came back to her, she said, "No, I can't do it right now." And I was like, "Why?" She said, my organization was, initially, investing in this, my coaching at that point of time. Somehow right now they're saying there are some cost cuts, so I'm not doing it. I said, but you were interested in your own development, right? Coaching was your own self-development, and you had articulated a couple of needs for yourself. So what is your investment in yourself? And she was like, no, not at this point of time. And that makes me wonder as to why do we do that? We don't, battle an eyelid when we want to, sort of invest in that bag or that, even that holiday that we want to do. But we always, question ourselves when we have to invest a little more in our own knowledge. And I want to ask you whether it is just with Indians or is it just outside of India as well? So.
No, I think Rashmi, very valid point. I think so people in the West look at it very differently, because for them, it's all about holistic living. Yeah. And holistic living is not just extrinsic, it is also very intrinsic. But I think in India, being a cost-conscious country, somewhere, the whole concept of mentoring and coaching is picking up steam, but I think we still have a long way to go. But I also am slightly perplexed, because look at it this way, right? Over the lockdown and the pandemic, we have seen so many various organizations in the learning space come up with certifications.
Yeah.
But they are also playing the game very intelligently, right? And if you observe this closely, Rashmi, you can do a certification online, and I'm not going to name the organizations that are there, but you can do a certification online and it's free of cost. But if you want the certificate, you need to pay a certain amount of money. Now that makes me wonder, are people actually paying the money for the certificate or for the learning? Because the learning anyway is free.
No, very
what sells? What sells?
Yeah, it's a very interesting point because, end of the day, people do require a report card, or, there's some amount of proof that you have studied, or, whatever. I think it is like a, it's a, what do you say, this thing in my armor saying that, this is also I have done. Uh, but yeah, it is an interesting, thing to see why people do that. But I would say that, people who are interested in actually getting deeper into a particular subject, they will do it not just for the certification, but because they really are keen on, sort of are curious about knowing that subject. And for them, does not matter whether it is a certificate at the end of the day or it is not, because those people will invest themselves much, much more deeply. And I guarantee you that those people will be the most successful people than most of us.
No, I think it's so well said, right? Because we see so many people who have a list of long certifications on their CV.
Yeah.
And when you ask them basic questions of what they studied in the course, they're unable to answer. And on the other hand, you have people who don't have all those certificates, but have invested so many hours in actually upskilling themselves, and they can talk very, very fluently and comfortably on that subject. So I think, yeah, there is the gray between the black and the white.
There is, and of course, I think it also requires your own accountability to yourself and the curiosity that you would want to, sort of, how curious are you to know about knowledge? How curious are you to, sort of get a deeper perspective onto a particular thing? You want to be a generalist or you want to be a specialist? I think that also drives a lot more people. But yeah, investment in yourself is very, very important, and it requires investment. So don't shy away from that.
Right. Thank you so much, Rashmi. Actually, it was so nice to just have this conversation just like that. And while you were speaking, I was actually looking right through your windows, and there's a beautiful rose. Is there a rose there along with the plant?
It's a rose. I love gardening, so I'm, blessed to have a nice big balcony in Bombay. So couple of plants and of course the roses. So
wonderful. Looks very, very nice. I'm sure when you look out from your bedroom right outside, a very nice sight to the eyes. Thank you so much, Rashmi, for joining us on Just Like That.
Thank you so much, Sahil, for reaching out.